Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where this time we're going to be taking a look back at Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. This was the second movie of the prequel trilogy, and one that it has a lot of issues, but with that being said, it's still a very fun and enjoyable film. I think the biggest thing about Attack of the Clones was that it was kind of that bridge between the introduction into the world of the prequels that we got in the Phantom Menace and leading up into the Clone Wars and ultimately what would be Revenge of the Sith, which that movie we'll cover in another video, but that movie, in my opinion, is nothing short of a masterpiece. Now, Attack of the Clones introduced a lot of new things into the Star Wars universe. The concept of cloning, you got to see Jedi at their height in action for the first time. The Phantom Menace, we didn't really get a lot of that, but this movie, you really get to see all these Jedi with the lightsabers out in a full scale battle. Really awesome to see. As well as this movie continues to develop the relationship between Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala, which we know is a crucial piece of the story of Darth Vader. And Hayden Christensen's acting in this movie isn't the best. I don't think it was all Hayden Christensen. I think a lot of the dialogue was a little bit cheesy on the nose, but for what it is, it didn't take me out of the movie or anything. Made for a lot of great meme material and something we can kind of look back on now and laugh. And it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie in the best way, I think. I loved Attack of the Clones growing up just because the Jedi, the clones, the action. As a kid, obviously I wasn't really super into all the Anakin and Padme stuff, but the movie does a lot of different genres where, yeah, you have the action and the adventure that you expect from Star Wars with a mix of romance, which kind of turns into almost romantic comedy, just like I said, from some of the acting and things like that. And then there's like a mystery aspect where you have Obi-Wan. He's off on this journey to try to figure out, what's going on with the assassination attempts. And it leads him to discovering the clone army, which, again, there's things in the movie that could have been better, but I really do appreciate the movie for what it is. I think the Battle of Geonosis is one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars, just for the fact you get this large scale battle, you get these little individual moments between the characters. The interactions between Anakin and Obi-Wan and Padme are great. Mace Windu steals the show in the battle scene with his ending of Jango Fett. And speaking of Jango Fett, it's the first introduction we get to him and Boba being his surrogate son. So a little bit of backstory for that character as well, which I don't think was necessarily expected back at the time, but definitely been a welcome addition to the lore and learning more about the clones and their origins as well. One thing I will say about the movie is that I think Dooku is the weakest villain of the prequels. And that's not to take anything away from Dooku. He's a fantastic character, but with the Phantom Menace, you had Darth Maul, and he's very, very cool design, very kind of badass, definition of Sith, an evil-looking creature. And then you have Dooku, who's an old man with a curved lightsaber, which Dooku's depth, and he's been added on a lot over the years with his backstory, which is pretty cool. Like, I really enjoy the character of Dooku as a whole. Just think at the time the movie came out, it was kind of a little bit of a letdown from Maul. People still felt like they killed Maul off too early. They could have done a lot more with him, which I agree with, but it is what it is. But overall, I think the film is a great bridge in the middle of the prequels, introduces a lot of great characters and designs, and kind of opens up the galaxy, opens up the world. You get great new planets that you learn about, Geonosis and Camino, and seeing even more of Coruscant. And some of the best cinematography in all of Star Wars as well. A lot of the shots of the clone army and the backgrounds of Tatooine, Anakin, on that mission to try to save his mother. Just really gorgeous imagery. That's one thing that I think the prequels as a whole did really well was the cinematography. A lot of very iconic shots. But yeah, Attack of the Clones, like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. It's one I'll go back to here and there. I think it works better in the context of watching the entire prequel trilogy, as you get to see kind of this grand plan unfolding as you lead into the Clone Wars, which ultimately leads into the formation of the Empire under Palpatine. And there's little hints and little seedlings dropped throughout the movie here that kind of hint that that's what's being led towards. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the most hype moment from this movie. That is none other than the revelation of Yoda's lightsaber. Yes, Yoda coming in at the end, pulling out the lightsaber, engaging Dooku in this epic CGI duel where he's flipping around and doing all these feats with the Force, and that was really cool to see. We've always seen Yoda as the philosopher, the wise old man, but now Yoda's officially a Jedi warrior. We got to see that in the movie, and that's really cool. But that's going to be it. I just wanted to talk about Attack of the Clones, kind of reflect back on the less talked about, I feel like, movie of the prequels. And let me know what you remember about this movie in the comments. As always, may the Force be with you. Appreciate you watching. Now let's blow up that like button and go home.